Good afternoon. It's approximately, as you can see on the clock, it's almost 20 minutes to 3. It's kind of warmish today. This is going to be very fast because it's kind of I don't know, shock, I guess, from a hairdresser, or, the woman who cuts my hair. That looks quite fine, okay. My poor this lower area will have a long time before it is perfectly tamed. It's the way things go. But this has to do with just say hairdresser. My hairdresser, she enlightened me. And this is something I had not really put together. How incredibly stupid I must have been. Total, absolute moron. I keep trying to get away from this subject. It's hard for me to do. It has to do with the hemorrhage and stuff and the consequences. And I've talked this subject to, 1 second. I'm not really supposed to be drinking alcohol, you see. It enlarges the arteries and veins too, and can cause, in my particular case, serious problems. Anyway, let's go back to the hairdresser. That's what this will be referred in the title, the hairdresser, my hairdresser. She enlightened me on something that I never really thought before. I never really did, and it's so obvious. Mr. Nuts, or whatever I call him, what he wanted to do is boot me out of the townhouse. That I just couldn't believe that is the case. But she's quite correct. I rethought that over, and it occurred to me, he wanted me kicked out of the house. You got to keep in mind, it took about 2 years for me to sort of put everything into place. And for someone to do that, well, he's a piece of Her argument, and it is quite accurate, acceptable, when we were talking about this character kicking me out of the townhouse. You always got to keep in mind, I moved into that townhouse in which we would negotiate a deal of me buying half of it. That is the truth. Oh, he would lie about that. That's almost inevitable. But that's what we're supposed to do. But she was quite accurate when I told her, we had been talking to, quite a long time. I've been cutting my hair for about 10 years, and in the same establishment. Amazing God, I've been living in this weird place for 20 some odd years. I can't believe that. It's like God said it's going to be my punishment until I croak to live in a place like this. And the place is not, it's the attitude you get down here. Anyway, we were talking about it. She told me I never really thought of. After the hemorrhage, he wanted to kick me out of the house. Now, in way of thinking, I'm going to be obsessed in other areas and not really think of something like that. But that's what he wanted it to be. Because the thing is, it was believed I would not improve at all. They were wrong. I mean, they were really, really wrong. What I did in re-educating myself, I did an exceptionally good thing. I have sometimes problems with words. I cannot help that. You have to keep in mind I could not speak at all. And it was because of reading and writing that allowed myself the ability to speak at all. But her observation surprised me. He wanted to kick me out of the house. So this has to do with ethics. Now I forgive him that he lied in me and buying half the house. I sort of figured that when I was moving the heavy mahogany furniture into the house, I sort of figured that out. But to do that, what can I say? While I was re-educating myself, and way back then, this is many years ago, there was not the facilities to assist people like me. I had to do it on my own, and I did. I did an excellent job. There's just going to be little flaws. But to kick me out of the house. Well, let's look at the hairdresser, who is a very nice woman, I should say. Her argument is that he had the right for the house, since he owned it, to do as he so wished. And he didn't want me around. He wanted a little more livelier sort of life. That's a good point. But how he did is rather disgusting. He's a kind of disgusting character. He couldn't be logical enough just to sit me down near him and tell me that he would prefer me not to be there, and assist me into getting certain things like CPPD disabled. I would not collect that for 1-2 years. No one told me the F about anything. Not even something like that. So now Ontario organization too, someone introduced me to, they easily accepted me. Anyone who saw the surgical report and such would have done that. The only person who would help me this is Heidi, who I shouldn't mention, I think her name, but she was there to help me to get pension and such. This person who I have no idea where or is doing whatever. I have no idea. I don't want to, actually. But to do that, there's a word, and it's called morality. And the morality, the moral behavior is very limited there. He didn't tell me what he really wished he'd done. And he started putting up things indicating to get out of the house. It's like a worm, like a rat, like a mouse. How disgusting people are. So what I find really difficult about people, how disgusting they are. But my hairdresser did support him. And in some ways, it is quite accurate. He knew I had problems. And at the age of 41, I think, he didn't want any, problems or anything. He wanted to have his own happiness in his happy phone house, that sort of stuff. So she's correct. But she's also wrong. Someone should have gotten me someone to assist me. But they're known, with the exception of the nurse for 3 months. She was okay. She just really took my blood pressure, and that's pretty much it. But as I look back, one piece of shit after another. He was trying, like that hairdresser told me, he was trying to kick me out of the house. A house I entered thinking we would negotiate a deal. It's really hard to like people, for me to like people. And I want my little dog. Unfortunately, he's crook. But anyway, I don't want to keep this long. It's essentially what the hairdresser brought up, and what I began to think about too. You think about the morality about it, and maybe, well, just think about it.